maybe just that proactiveness we were talking about, being proactive, or
try new things.
And get a routine going. Get a routine going, be proactive, say howdy.
Say howdy.
You know what I mean?
Words to live by, brother.
And if you got to harden up, drink a cup of cement.
And like advice pieces that you would give to somebody who maybe is in their mid-teens, they're competitive, they don't really know what avenue to explore. Like, how could they kind of discover what to do?
Yeah, sure. The best advice I would say for someone in their teens is you don't have to have it all figured out. And there's many different avenues you can pursue. Mm-hmm. So you might see somebody who's a young stud, they have it, made, they're succeeding right now, and your story doesn't quite look like theirs. But in the end, after a few years and, maybe 10 years down the road, you might be at the same place that they're at, even though you started out way behind. So don't feel like you have to have it all figured out in your teens. A good example is one of my training partners. His name is Kenny Bednarik. He went to a JUCO, and he's kind of, a late bloomer. Not really many people talked about him in high school. He went to a junior college, didn't have the grades to go to D1, but now he's the Olympic silver medalist in the 200, So does it really matter earlier on how you got there?
Yeah.
As long as you get there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, some people do go to the big school. They're hot when they're in high school. They're hot when they're in college, and they end up doing great stuff as a professional. Some people are hot when they're young and fizzle out. But it all depends on how consistent you are, how hungry you are, and how committed you are to getting to wherever it is you want to go. And sometimes you don't even have to know where you want to go. You'll just figure it out on the path. Just commit to whatever it is you're passionate about at the moment. And eventually the right people will help you find where you have to go. I never thought in a million years that this is where I'd be in my position today. When I was a teenager, I had no idea about running professionally. I didn't know that was a thing. I knew there's the Olympics, and that was it. I didn't know about scholarships. I didn't know about the NCAA. Okay. I didn't know about professional track or getting a shoe deal with Nike or, all the things that I've done. And now I've traveled the world. I have a great career running for Nike, and I'm a 3-time Olympian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, the point is that you don't have to have it all figured out earlier on. Sometimes you just need to be around people who are hungry and ambitious and like, have some type of idea of what they want, and that might rub off onto you, and they might help you try stuff that you never pictured yourself doing. So sometimes you just have to taste like, hey, maybe I want to try this. Maybe I want to try this. Give stuff a try. Be open to different things, and you might find something that sticks, and that might turn into your career, But when you're a teen, there's a lot of pressure to be like everybody else, especially with social media and FOMO and stuff like that. Yeah. So you might like compare yourself all the time, like, oh, I don't have it figured out. I'm worth this and whatever. And mental health's a big thing these days too. So like the effects of mental health on you when you don't have it figured out and you see other people who do, and you feel like you're being left behind, it weighs on people, man. So it's like, bad, I don't want young people to feel like they have to have it all figured out right now. You have time, and that's your biggest asset. So use it. Use that time to explore different avenues that you can pursue, and you might find your passion. You might find what you like, and follow that, man. Just take it and run with it. See how far you can go with it.
Nice.
What do we need to be able to enjoy it to the max? More and more and more and more. And that is learning skills. And usually the thing that you're using to learn those skills is discipline, right? So you got to learn that skill first. And then you use that discipline to learn skills to improve your ability to enjoy life, to be more present, to do all this stuff. And then also learn skills to decrease your stresses in life, right? So if like, people can get knocked around so much up and down by like stress or highs and this, but if you can like somehow learn all these skills to like make all the bottom stuff just disappear and just kind of like, or mostly disappear, and then kind of keep yourself up here at all times, right? Yeah. Becoming become more of a enlightened person, you know. And I don't know. I don't see. It just feels like the point to me. You know what I mean? The point of doing all the hard stuff is to make life amazing and fun. And fun. You know, it's just to make it fun.
Makes it worth living.
Yeah, man, it just makes it fun as heck. And why would you not want to do that? And yeah, with the hard stuff, people talk about like working out is hard, or doing this is hard. It's like,
Missing
man,
the point.
pick your hard, man. Like, like, is it all the issues that you're gonna like live with for like the rest of your life, or is it like the hard you're gonna have to go through right now?
Pick your hard.
And eventually, the beautiful thing that people don't realize is once you become really good at like doing the hard things, it's not that hard to do the hard things anymore.
No.
It's not. You start to become a bit crazy, and you like to do those hard things. Like, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens when you master something. That's why I preach that, because doing hard stuff is just like fun all of a sudden, right?
Because you know you can do it.
Yeah, and you're constantly overcoming something, and it's like those are tiny versions of the hero's journey. That's literally all it is, like overcoming an obstacle. You know, and then
It's a sense of fulfillment you're getting every single time.
yeah, every time you're doing it, like,
Which is why we live.
I didn't want to do it today. You know, if it's just like doing a cold shower in a day, you're like, oh, I gotta do it today. And just the fact that you can crank it all the way without even thinking about it, just because like it's such a habit, like that's so satisfying. Like I can do it. There's something I don't want to do, but I can do it like that, and it's actually fun. You know, it makes it fun. It's super weird. Super counterintuitive, but I think it's just part of our DNA. So I think
overarching like lesson in regards to everything you learned from like the process of dealing with the transplant to now, like do you have any, like, as you kind of wrap it up, any like pieces of like wisdom or advice that you'd pass on to, whether it be somebody going through something similar you've been through, or somebody just even attempting a Great Lake, or just overall life in general?
Yeah, there's a lot of little lessons, but to sum it up into one would be the power of, like, stressing the importance of the power of our thoughts and what our mind, how powerful our mind is. That helped me tremendously getting through my illness and having a transplant, and through the swim. Like, there's some parallels there for sure, where you're struggling through something to get to a better place, and not to underestimate the value of positive thinking, and also just being aware of the doubts that come up, like not believing in yourself, that can manifest and create bigger problems. So I think that would have to be the overarching lesson, was just mastering your mind and believing that you can do something, and being resilient when challenges come up and persevering through them.
Amazing. Like, whether it be advice or a lesson that somebody has given you that's kind of in your like after college, before college phase, that has stuck with you and stood the test of time. It was like played true every time.
That's a good question, man. After college, off the top of my head, I can't really think about like in that moment that's kind of like stood the test of time. But one thing that I always often come back to, and has really impacted me a lot over the last like probably 5 years of my life, is just like the idea of like exploring things that you feel like you want to I'm trying to think of how I can word this right. Like, if you have that feeling of something that you want to do, or a thought or an idea, it's like that kind of keeps coming back to you. Like, explore that, don't ignore it, and see where it can take you. Because for me, that idea of like starting something on my own, or going out and putting content out on Instagram, or starting a podcast, is always like this little idea that was in my mind that kept coming back. And I ignored it for a period of time, and then eventually I was like, all right, let's just kind of explore this. And I explored that, and that's led to everything that I have right now, and has set me up for hopefully what will be like a great lifetime, right? So none of that would be possible if I didn't like explore that. So I think a lot of times people have that little thought or that voice or that idea in their head, but it gets shut down by whether it be society's norms of like, well, you'll never be able to do that, or it's like your parents in your ear being like, well, just go get a real job, or
It's usually that
whether,
one, yeah.
Whether it's your friends who are like, bro, you're crazy, like you're not going to be able to do that, or everyone kind of wants to shut those things down. And I think exploring those things are super important. And if at the end of it ends up not being something that you want to do, or you fail at it, or it doesn't work out, it's like, all right, cool, at least we explored it and saw what could have potentially come from it, right?
And did you learn from it? And if you did, great. Because more often than not, you still learn from it, right? It's never a real loss. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Question about what is the best piece of, like, through all the mentors you've had, coaches, right, peers, that you've either received a piece of advice or wisdom that's kind of been presented to you, but you found has stayed with you over time? Can we do two separate answers? One for business related specifically, if possible, and then one for overall. Unless they're the same.
Business advice that someone has given me. Make sure you own piece of whatever you're doing. And I realize that, I noticed that when you're putting your love, heart and passion into something, to build something for someone else, I know, and giving them the opportunity to play more, do more, and you realize I'm doing most of the work and I don't own it. I don't own piece of it.
Yeah.
Right? So when I look at it is, you need to have something that can provide you with unlimited income while you sleep or you wake. While you wake or asleep. That's the best business advice. So now, when I was in a position to have an option, and that's why I always do 2 jobs growing up. I always have 2 cars growing up. I always have 2 certain things because I want to have the option. If my one car broke down, I have time to get it fixed. I just switch in the next one and I'm gone.
Amazing.
Right? Till it's fixed. Right? Same thing job-wise. If I lose a job,
I have another job.
I have something that can turn into a full-time.
Right.
Right? So even in BC, I had over 100 and something clients. I could do my sports business full-time.
Yeah.
It gave me both options.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, after that, I said, that's why I went back to the deal and says, I love it. I want to be part of it, but I need to own some of it. Right? And once he says yes, the other partners, I'm like, all right, we'll figure out all the other details after. Right? But because now I'm putting in my love, I'm putting my hard work, because I want to make sure it's successful, because now I have a stake in the game now.
Right.
Right? They want to make it successful. Now they have a stake in the game. So that would be my advice to anyone. You're going to trade time for money. Right? If you're going to trade time for money, make sure you love or like what you do.
Yeah, at least.
And willing to maximize the opportunity to be successful. Right? And make sure it pay you enough where you don't mind being used.
Right, yeah, you gotta,
right?
There's gotta be the balance.
Yeah, you don't mind being used, but there's a cost to the use.
Right.
Right? And if you can't, then try to own along the way.
Yeah.
There's the classic one, like I heard it at a young age, like if you do a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life, which like I believed for a while until you start running your own like small business. It can be very hard. And then all of a sudden the hobby that you used to love becomes like the bane of your existence. So maybe not that one. But just give me a second here. I'll think of something. And like, it's so hard not to sound cheesy either. Oh, here's a great one. In 2002, I went to the NHL Awards. I was in grade 7, and I went to the NHL Awards because I've had diabetes since I was 10, and the Canadian Diabetes Association used to be the major sponsor of the NHL Awards Gala. So there was a portion of like the cocktail hour or there was a dinner after or something. I was in grade 7, so I couldn't wrap my head around cocktail hours and galas and everything like that at that time. But I got to see all my hockey heroes, so it was like a grade 7's dream. It was insane.
No kidding.
But anyway, the portion of the proceeds from that evening would go towards the Canadian Diabetes Association. And I have a lot of respect for them. They do great work. I ended up working with them after I graduated from Acadia for a year, and they're good people doing honest work. And so anyway, I was at the NHL Awards, and I met Lanny McDonald, who won a Stanley Cup with the Calgary Flames. And,
no way.
Yeah, and he told me, he just said dream big dreams, because like he explained that like he was just a kid from the prairies or wherever Lanny's from, kid from rural Ontario. Let's fact check that. I don't know exactly where he's from. He's a kid from rural Canada, and now all of a sudden he is like a hockey icon.
Oh,
and
100%.
It's all because he believed in himself as a kid and did the thing that he loved every single day. That whole week was like, if I can go back and think about like one specific like life altering thing in my life, it was going there that week. And this was something that I only realized in like the last year or so, because I was a presenter that evening, like with Ron McLean and on stage, and it was the year that Canada had won at Salt Lake City. So it was like, I mean, Jerome McGinley scored 50 that year. It was I sat next to Daryl Sittler, whose son is also diabetic. So like we hit it off that night. Like it was just, there's not enough time to tell the stories of that. Nickelback was the live, like they were huge. Like How You Remind Me was the biggest thing in Canadian music history that year. And anyway, it showed me, it wasn't like a one-off, like I'm meeting a celebrity. I met 100 people that I have only ever seen on TV. I'm 11 years old. This is like the biggest holy shit 72 hours of my life.
Yeah.
But it was amazing how normalized it got and how quickly, and how I saw the production of everything. I saw the dress rehearsal of everything. I was in the green room. I watched my dad have a beer with Scotty Bowman and Wayne Gretzky. Like all these crazy things happen like in such a short period of time. And then you have all these people who are they're also seeing some of their hockey icons. You know what I mean? Like, so those 72 hours just show me it's like, it is attainable. Like whatever it is attainable as long as you like work your ass off like these people did. Like this world exists, I guess, was the biggest takeaway for me. Was like, I'm sure I left that weekend being like, I'm going to play in the NHL. And then that didn't happen, but thankfully I found movies. But seeing that environment was completely life-changing. And
wow.
Yeah, so then the rest of my life, I just always had that in the back of my mind that like, these people exist. It does happen. It can be done.
I just want to reiterate the point. When you are a young person, you need to achieve something. So you need to achieve something hard. So don't fool yourself. Don't medicate yourself out of a situation. Don't remove yourself from your potential. You are going to set up the rest of your life. Your 40s and 50s and 60s feel a long way away when you're in your 20s, but they're not. And they'll be here soon enough. And the work that you do now will set yourself up for a very good middle age, and definitely the best time of your life. When I work with people who are in, their 60s plus, When you've lived a life where you've accomplished things, when you've figured out how to accept your lot in life and you've found your true lane, then you can live in love and integrity in the last bit of your life and truly, truly enjoy what life is about.
I love it. Amazing.
Yeah, we kind of briefly talked about it earlier, but I think as doesn't matter, male, female, whatever you represent yourself as, you got to be patient. Be patient with the journey that you're on. Like I said, if it's easy, maybe there's something you're doing wrong. Because I think the moment it gets hard, that's where people take a step back. And to me, when it's hard, you know you're working. And I think that's where you know you're like, you know what? It's supposed to be heavy or it's supposed to be a struggle.
Yeah.
But that's where we're growing. So I think what I want people to take out of this is whatever sport you're in, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. But both days you're learning something. Take whatever small win you get from those days, good or bad. Know that that's a part of your process. That's a part of where your journey is, and you're not going to have the same path as everybody else. Take what you can get in your 90-minute sessions, your 1 hour sport that you play, and fucking enjoy it. Enjoy the good, enjoy the bad, and enjoy the hurt that you get out of it, because everyone has a goal. The way we get there, it's all different. But the main purpose of it is achieving it. You achieve it. That's it. Like, you just got to do it.
Start asking the right questions to yourself.
Yeah.
What is it that I really want to do in life? And if you don't know, that's okay. That's actually a right spot to be at, because the world is your oyster.
Yeah. Just allows you more options, more things to do. Jeez.
And it will elevate the stress of, I got to find a career. I got to get a degree. I got to listen, go travel, which is what I love about the young generation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was having discussions before COVID with CEOs of saying these kids, they want to travel and not work and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, because they're realizing that who wants to work for a corporation for 30 years in a cubicle from 9 to 5?
Yeah. Brutal.
And then get only like 5 to 10 years to enjoy what you've built. They want to enjoy it now. And COVID has pushed that right up to the front, that now people want to work virtually and they don't want to go to that. Right. But what's missing is, I think there should be this hybrid world, because you still need the social connection at work. Because now if your only interaction is opening up a Zoom screen, you're not exchanging that energy. You're not doing the small talk. It's all business. Yeah. And it's important within your day. That's scientifically been proven that you need that social interaction with people. Yeah, hey, huge. Mary, how are the kids? Hey, Bob, what did you do on the weekend?
Yeah,
it's water cooler talk, but that makes the socialization, that significance, that love and connection, those two needs. Remember, that's what fills those up.
Interesting, man.
For example, if I'm driving around 12 years ago, and somebody gives me the finger and wants to fight me, it's like, oh, okay, like I'm getting riled up. Now when somebody like threatens me or says something silly or whatever, it's like, okay, like, sure. It's like, how many people that you will meet out in public will be able to like do anything to you physically? It's like almost zero.
Yeah.
Like there's maybe a couple in like the city. Mm-hmm. And they would know me and I would know them.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to be like, hey, see you soon. See you later. See you at the next unified event. Yeah. So it's like nobody's going to do anything to you. So you just don't really care anymore. It's just kind of funny. Like it makes it comical.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a cool feeling. I like it.
Yeah, no kidding. That gives you that.
And that's not to be like cocky. Like I could beat it.
Oh no, just no, reality.
It's like, I mean, maybe like confidence sounds like, oh, I'm confident, but like it is really just like confident and like, not sweating like the small stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you don't go around, sorry, I'm going to add to that. You don't go around like being like, well, I can beat everybody, like do something. Like I don't want guys to do anything, but you just feel like when you get to a higher level, guys won't be able to hurt you. So you can just literally like, you could walk away, you could stand there and like move. Like there's nothing that's going to happen. And you're not going to hurt them, but you can like have fun with it if you wanted to.
We talk about it all the time. I think people look at this as especially martial arts, as a source of magic. Now, I don't mean, like no touch knockouts magic, but, hey, we talked about discipline. You get the phone call, hey, I have no discipline in my life. I need to do this. And go, okay, well, it's not, signing up for martial arts doesn't do that. And people, you get the odd fighter, you get the odd guy going, man, my life is not where I want it to be. I think an MMA fight's going to turn it around. I really want that. I think that'll really change my life. It won't.
No. Yeah.
It is a grind. It's a consistent grind, and every single thing you have to make the decision to do it. You got to decide to show up. You got to decide to put in the work. You got to decide to diet. You got to decide to stay in the sauna. Every single round, you have to decide to come out and win. So it's not a magic pill. It's a very slow, step by step, based on your decisions.
Yeah, and it's not pretty, right? Like it's not all winning, and like you gotta accept the fact that like it's gonna be hard work. You're gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna be probably getting your ass kicked for a good, few years, probably maybe. Yeah. Right? And it's like it's just a grind, man. You gotta be ready to put in that work.
Yeah. Nobody shows up to a football coach and goes, I'm just gonna have one football game. That's a bucket list, and that's gonna change my life.
Yeah.
But it happens every single day here, and it's the same. No, that's not how it works.
And how many guys, like, you said, like, God, I'm gonna do this, and this, and they bang it out for a week, and you don't see them again. Like,
all the time. Yeah. All the time. And I guess that's like a downer of a message, but I think that's an important message to get out there, is like, look, it's hard, and it's tough, but if you want change, and if you want to, if you actually want to fight, it's like, well, that's how you're going to that's how you're going to learn. You asked about lessons from MMA. Yeah. That's how you're actually going to learn lessons from MMA, is by consciously making those tough decisions every single day. And that's how you're going to actually improve. I don't think you put your kid in karate and they bow and they do a kata and they learn self-discipline and control. No, you learn self-discipline and control by choosing to show up and by choosing to work hard. And
when you don't want to sometimes, right? Yeah. Most of the time, really. Yeah.
That's where martial arts actually has like a positive effect.
I'll run like, let's just say 5K out, 5K back, and then, next one would be like 10K out, 10K back, and then 15 out, 15 back, 20 out, 20 back. And when you get out there and you're exhausted and you got to run back, like, you don't have a choice. It's not like you're at the gym and you can just quit and go to the change room and go home because something was hard, right? You're out there no matter what, and you got to get back.
I love it, yeah.
And then you see, like, you're like, shit, I just did something I've never done before, and I didn't think I could do.
Right.
Which is what's so cool about running. I'll use that 85K, for example, man. Like, when I signed up for that race, I was so nervous, and I was like, I don't know if I should do this. And I'm like, fuck it. I put in my credit card, signed up, and I was done, and I was like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, here we go. Like, training starts today.
Let's go, yeah. Like right now.
And I started doing like the biggest training runs I've ever done, and when I did that race, right, my longest event was a training run, right? I've done big runs, but I've done them in 24 hours. So this was my biggest consistent run. So in training, I did a 60K run, which was my longest run, consistent. And then when I got to 60K in the race, everything after 60 was like new territory.
Yeah,
it's like,
uncharted.
what's gonna happen? Are my legs gonna break?
Whoa.
Or is my mind gonna break down? Like,
feet.
what's gonna happen? And nothing happened. I just kept running.
Amazing,
right?
I can do this.
Yeah, I got to the end and I was like, shit, I can keep going. Like, it's crazy. Your body is capable of anything, and when you realize that in your mind, it's limitless. It's totally limitless.
That's amazing.
And I bring that to the gym, right? Like,
and everybody sees it.
Yeah,
like it's infectious being around it.
The key to growth is just giving things a crack. Like, as uncomfortable, but like just taking that first step and dipping your toe into the discomfort, right? I'm just such a huge believer in the fact that we are wrought with fear of certain things, and we might not realize them, and we might not be able to put it into words yet. But by starting to just try new things, pushing yourself into the unknown, dipping your toe into these uncomfortable activities, whether that's the gym, whether that's asking for a pay rise, whether that's presenting, all these kind of things. I think the biggest lesson is just to start doing that. And you will, I obviously there's no guarantees, but with the experience, I think there's experiences you'll have within yourself, whether that's your own mental development, personal development, or the people that you meet, you'll just have a completely new outlook on life. And that it's like, it is the kind of key to living from what I've found and from what I've seen, living an incredibly fulfilling life starts with discomfort and starts with fear. So you kind of just got to work through that
behind it. But do it. Yeah. Do it for yourself. Do it as yourself. Don't try to pretend to be someone you're not or something you're not. I say that, but I did have to pretend to be a photographer before I could actually call myself.
I think you have to fake it till you make it, and then there's like the whole authenticity part of it. But I think doing that is like you need those kind of lessons and those experiences in order to kind of actually figure out that's something that you can do, and then once you develop it, you get more comfortable. Like I was very different the first time doing this than now.
I'm
right?
sure.
It's like be way easier, be yourself, loosen up, conversations are better, everything's just
I was much more likely to shit my pants at my first photo shoot than I am now.
For myself, the audience, message you want to leave. I'm sure this won't be the last and only time we do this, but for now.
I would say to inspire others, you first have to inspire yourself. And that comes from like being true to yourself, but like to be able to inspire other people or feel like you're doing something good for the world, you have to find like what drives you in life. And I'd say if like you're unhappy with what you're doing, it's probably because you haven't found your passion. But like to be able to inspire others, you got to inspire yourself first and really like follow your journey that like you feel good about. Yeah. Amazing. I would say that's like the biggest piece.
I like that.
I want to know from you, like what was the original reason why you created Life After High School?
So I'll focus first. I have two parts to this answer. The first one is with the actual...
Wait,
wow,
what?
that's boring.
Dude, this isn't a deposition, man. Anybody that starts an answer like that is like, this is going to be a two-part answer. It's like, holy shit. I mean, I wasn't even ready for a one-part answer.
Hey, if you want to like poke your campaign statement in my lawn, hey, any day of the week, dude, I got you. I'll have a spot. Glenn YG for mayor.
Oh yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed it. So we all somewhat decided to have mustaches. Not technically true on my case. So Patty, I think you just been rocking that stash for a minute.
Hot minute, yeah.
Yeah, you got that old school Irish boxer thing going on.
I kind of love it, dude. I've been like bringing back like the polo too.
Okay, I could see that.
So it's been great.
Oh, it works for you. You're a big, strong, manly man, right? So it's like
I feel strong.
strong like bulls.
I think that the biggest part of life is to be able to do the things you love doing, and that it's always something that fills you with energy when it's something you love doing. But doing that is not always the easiest route. The stuff that I've done in my life, most people are looking at me just going, oh, why are you doing that? What's important for that? Why are you thinking that way? Or the other thought was, that's stupid. That's impossible. No, you can't do it. No. So I think that what's really important is to gauge what you want to do, to seriously think about it, to bounce your ideas off your family and friends. Mm-hmm. If you have people around you that are totally negative, which I've had some really negative people around me, you let them go. And then you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that understand what it's like to really put yourself out there and to believe in your dream and your vision and your willingness to work toward it, and to realize that you're not a mainstreamer, but you've chosen not to be in the mainstream. You've chosen to go in your own way. And that's what really makes life exciting.
Amazing. It could be something you learned when you're younger or something that's just applicable for every day, but something that's kind of stood the test of time.
Oh man, it's a hard question. With all my introspection, I can't even think of this one. I don't know, man. Like, probably just like work hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've been instilled with that, like with my family for so long, and even if I didn't work as hard as I should have in university and in school, and I was always kind of taught that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I never understood why my parents would tell me that. So I guess now, now it's like, well, now that I have something that I absolutely love, now I'm willing to work hard for it. So I guess that's something that like has always been along with me, is just when in doubt, work hard.
Explain to me what a good initial like amount is to have to start with, like a bare minimum
To
number.
buy?
Yeah.
Okay.
To buy.
So the October average price.
Oh, that's perfect.
So this is good. That was only 3 weeks ago. The average price in Sudbury was, let's just say, $415 to be safe.
Yeah.
So to buy a house, if you're going to move into the house, it's 5% down. So if you're going to move in, like owner occupy it.
Yeah.
Now, if you're buying it for like a rental or whatever, then it's 20% down. If you do the math, so 415, the Ontario or the October average, you got to think too Sudbury. Plug if any investors are listening to this. Every other market outside of Sudbury, well, like I'm talking like down south wise, like anything below Barrie, they're all like almost double our price. Like the rest of Ontario is extremely expensive. So Sudbury is very cheap in comparison to the rest of the province. So I'm seeing that a lot too, where a lot of people are selling down in Toronto for 1.3 million. Coming up to Sudbury, buying a house 6 times the size for half the price, right?
Yeah.
And then they have like
insane
$500,000 in the bank. So back to this. So 415, the money for that at 5% down would be about $21,000. But that's just your down payment. Now I know finance people, they like to the banks like to see you have a float of like an extra 1.5% on top of that sometimes. Lawyer fees like on average like $2,000. An inspection could be like around $500, right? So I would say a good amount of cash to start. And you got to think though, the average price though, that's from like new build all the way down to like mobile home together and divided kind of idea. So like a first time buyer price range is like, let's just use 300,000. So like, because that's what I mean. Like your first house isn't going to be a new Sudbury 6-bedroom house, right? Like that's something you get like in your second or third house. So if you use 300,000 as like a median like starter house price at 5% down, $15,000. So I'd say like $20,000 comfortably. You could probably buy something.
Nice.
Is if anyone leaves with anything from this episode and they have any desire to do anything online, I would leave with this: we overthink the shit out of online marketing and social media. But if you were to break it down to swap algorithms, swap any of these buzzwords for just people, and think about it like real people. Who do you connect with the deepest in your life?
Ooh.
Why do you connect with them the deepest?
Right.
It's common interests, common struggles, vulnerability, and authenticity. How do you transfer that through content? Because that's really all this is like, how do I sit down with someone and become their best friend in real life? All I have to do that is give them opportunities to see those parts of me that I would do in person through a video. And so I think that the biggest thing that people can do for starting that is just like make a video. I think so many people feel like there's so much to it and they feel like they can't. Everyone can. If you have a phone in your hand, you can start telling a story, right? And there's so much freeing nature in doing that. I think also, as much as I say like be authentic, it's really important for me to mention that's pretty pressure inducing. But what can eliminate that is that no one is being themselves on camera, and that you become gradually more yourself, and you discover yourself the more that you are on camera.
Like take me through like the details of it.
So probably like the biggest thing.
Of what you want to share at least.
Well, the biggest thing was losing my mom.
Oh shit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
It was super unfortunate. So, like 2020 was like mentally destructive. But then I lost my mother in like 2021.
Right.
And it was like 2020 was this scenario where I was actually doing the switch from Suburban Made a Troop. And it fucked me up mentally, man. Like, it messed with the idea that I just thought I had genuine connections that fizzled away very, very quickly after I left. And, left at Suburban MMA. And it was like...
Yeah.
I just, man, I love those guys to death, and then I just, I feel pretty ostracized now. And it's just, it's just really unfortunate. So, that really messed with me. And then... I don't know if anybody else has gone through this, but when you have someone in your family that's sick, and there are times where they will withhold information to try to protect you.
I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't know why she did it. I really don't. I still to this day don't know why she did it. But she.
So it was like self-inflicted, like is that?
No, she lied to us. My mother told me that she was getting treated for cancer. My mother died of gastro cancer, so she died of stomach cancer, and that was never found. When they take ultrasounds of your stomach, they only see the front portion.
Yeah.
And all of her cancer was behind her stomach. Yeah, it was such a weird. Such a weird.
That is
thing.
weird.
But yeah, when you have this person, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna actually tell all your viewers everything right now. Call your mom and tell you that you love her, man. Because you don't understand the extent of what they will do to love you, man. You have no fucking clue. You really don't.
Jeez.
You really don't, dude. And when they're gone, you can never, ever tell them the things that you want to tell them. Ever again. It's gone. You never can have that last phone call to tell them that you love them. The first time I kissed my mother on her forehead, the first time I ever kissed my mom as an adult, she was gone. Yeah, dude. I don't recommend that for anybody.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
heavy.
It was a really unfortunate experience. And then on top of that too, being 2020 is when she told us that she was sick. And then it was so fast, Glenn. It was 6 months, dude, and she was gone. 6 months, boom, gone.
Yeah, how do you digest that?
Well,
how did the fallout of that take place?
Thinking that your life is great, thinking that you have this forever growing relationship with the person that you love, which obviously I hope that all of you guys love your mothers. And if you have some beef with your mom, just put it down, guys. Forgive, man. Forgiveness is a trait that only the strong can carry. Only.
Yeah.
And I understand that people do some fucking terrible things. I get that. But just because you think that was a terrible experience and the way that it affected you doesn't mean that you can forgive not only yourself but them. You don't have to keep them in your life or whatnot, but you can go up to them and say, hey, I forgive what happened because it was X period of time ago, or I was a different person, whatever, right?
Yeah, statute of limitations is up.
Yeah, 100%. You don't carry that shit.
Jeez.
But if you can call your mom and tell her that you love her, do it, man, because it's a very weird experience. It's a very uncomfortable experience for sure. Again, like we were talking about with the whole men thing, showcasing emotions and stuff. Just fighting right now to try to kind of keep myself together. With the scenario is it's just man, there's just a conversation I would have loved to have with her. That's for sure. And I couldn't.
I think, man, it's not the first time somebody's told me that they've lost a parent on the show, but every time I'm not expecting it because they come up and it's just so a lot, and you don't. Yeah, how do you set the tone for that? But
just fucking go and call your fucking mom and tell her that you love her. Just do it, because the reality is that person will not be there someday. They will not be there, and it doesn't matter the fucking feud that you had, man. My mom and me were just learning each other as an adult, like as me as an adult, like there's a difference between talking to your parents as a kid, and talking to your parents as an adult, like as your own man. You know what I mean? Let alone like a woman. What like. It's tough, dude. Like it's tough to like take the time to reach out and do that, but just do it, man. It's worth it.
I struggle with my mom with that.
But it's a personality thing.
Like
there's nothing wrong with that.
Like we can have good conversations, but like I could tell that she like still thinks I'm 3 years old.
And you are the person, bro, that needs to set that line and be like, Mom, I'm a fucking grown man now. And I would like to have a conversation as a grown man with you.
That doesn't always bring up this or doesn't end with that.
100%.
Yeah. Like,
you know how we were talking about like the high school thing? That's like we're not that snapshot.
But they see us as the snapshot of 5 years
of
before.
5 years.
Yeah.
It's not like that, bro. That's not what it's like. And then like you have to have the maturity and the courage to be like, yo, like this isn't the reality that I live. I have to have it with my father all the time because like my dad sees me as a younger man, like inexperienced or whatnot. My dad has been through his shit. Don't get me wrong. Right. But like, yeah, man, I've been through some shit too. I know suffering. I know trial as well. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's my only piece of advice with that.
So that's kind of one of my last things I'm curious about in terms of how, like, my general question that I like to end the show with.
Okay.
Do you have a piece of wisdom or a piece of advice that you received, it could be early on or later on, that you would say has stood the test of time in your life?
Okay, wow.
And feel free to take a second.
No, I'm going to think on that. I guess two things. One is simply believe. And what I mean by that is believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, believe in what you're creating. Even on those days where you don't see like you're making progress, you're mired in self-doubt. That's all part of it, right? Right. Like
100%.
Courage exists, right? It doesn't exist without fear. Fear is part of the equation. Despite fear, you're going forward, right? So believe. So that was something very early on, and that core belief of self. I think I would say that keeps me motivated and driving, right? Because I do believe, and I believe. And the second thing is, I learned, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a musician, you're a visual artist, you're a writer, you're an actor, right? Just know that no one's going to care about your work more than you. So there'll be people that will come along the ride for some of it, like, whether working with a bunch of actors or a show, but know that no one, and that doesn't mean that's that. And so that's how it should be, because it's your work, and other people are going to be invested in it to the level they need to be invested, but it will always be yours. So with that, and this is something I've discovered over the years, the more I put into my creative work, the more I always get back. And it's an equation that has never failed to disappoint me.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at, but I know I've been there a few times. Sometimes I might have had a relationship in my life that maybe didn't go the way I wanted it to, even though I was working on it and giving it all. But there are controls whereby that's just the way it goes, and it took people that eventually weren't on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's life.
It's life. But with your creative work, because it's what you're creating. If you're investing 100% into your work, you'll get 150% back.
Whoa.
If you stay committed to it. Right? And
that's the big thing. I like that you added that. Amazing.
Yeah, you got to stay committed to it. And that ties in with belief. So I guess and that kind of comes up with the other thing about just show up. Just do it. Just show up and do it.
Amazing.